Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of With Conviction, a story of hope, horror, and history. My name is Rain, my pronouns are she, her, and I am your GM for this adventure. With me are my victorious heroes for this campaign. Why don't you all introduce yourselves?
I'm Alice. I use she and they pronouns, and I play Desdemona Hartwood, who also uses she and they pronouns. Desdemona is a Roseheart guardian and is a gothy, punky, magical girl with a heart of pink and new wings.
Hi, I'm Skylin. My pronouns are they and them, and I play Chris Whitlock, whose pronouns are she or any. Chris is our extremely sporty, magical not a girl, who is our firebrand artillery.
And I'm Rob. My pronouns are he, him, and I play Eliza Hardwick, whose pronouns are she, her. Eliza is our fiery, punky, magical girl, and she is a stalwart soul warrior.
The last we had left you, you had just concluded an adventure into this pocket dimension full of unspeakable nasties. And you had encountered the detective who has been following you and watching you for some time. And you had completely baffled him to the point where he just straight up left you alone out of confusion. And after that, you had gone to get some pancakes. It was the middle of the night. So after a quick debrief with Hazel and Faith, who had been watching you, what are you all doing the next morning?
Before we cut to the next morning, I think that Des has to roll for pancakes.
Oh, that's a good point. Pancake roll.
Yes.
Pancake roll.
How many I can get through? All right, that is a 7.
Over half. Pretty good.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, you make good headway through the pancakes and you take the rest home with you because I know you got a 12 stack.
Well, if I was getting 7, or if I got through 7, then yeah, absolutely.
So, what are you all up to?
Eliza's plans were for Monday because it's now Sunday and the place she wants to go is closed, so
In the meantime, I think Chris has called Jessie just to talk over what they're going through. She's feeling like she has some duty to fill Jessie in on stuff now.
If you want to jump ahead a couple of days, we absolutely can. This is going at your pace.
all right. Well, on Monday, sometime in the early afternoon, everyone just gets a text in the Pancake Squad group chat. It's just heading to the library, gonna do some research. Who's in?
I think Hazel's thumbs up is pretty much immediate.
Chris's text reads, "I'll be in after class."
Des responds, I can swing by, but I can't really research my way out of a paper bag.
It's okay. You'll be moral support.
And then Faith's response is just you and me both, Des.
Is there an emoji that's just like cheerleader pom-poms?
Probably.
I feel
There
like that
is
would
now.
be. There is now. That's what I send.
Excellent.
There isn't actually.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, there is now.
Okay.
I would think the person with DIY skills could figure out how to make one of those.
Yeah, I copy-pasted it. That's how you get all those special characters.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Excellent. So, researching at the library.
Yeah. So, what's this library like? I mean, have you been there? I know you go to these places in real life.
Unfortunately, this one in particular, I have not had the time.
Oh, that's fair. Can't expect you to have been everywhere in Winchester. All right. Well, the Handley Regional Library looks very fancy and nice, so I'm thinking we'll do that.
We don't need to get into too many specifics. I don't want to lock myself into
Yeah.
details that I'm wrong about.
Okay, but we definitely get like a couple of shots of Eliza just wandering around this very historic building, which looks nothing like any of the libraries in LA.
Yep, this makes sense.
And then eventually she just coops up in a little like study room, I think. And she's probably the first one to get there, but she texts everybody else which room she's in. And she has pulled a bunch of just books about the Civil War, and she's trying to track down something about like records of people moving into the town and such. She has a thread she wants to tug on.
Okay. I think Hazel joins you pretty quickly with a lot more metaphysical books about Manichaeism and Zoroastrianism and other, just a lot of different.
Isms?
Well, I was going to say worldviews, but she starts going through a little bit more of that angle on the subject. So why don't you go ahead and make that dig action?
All right. Now, I presume that rolling research is helpful here.
I think quite possibly, potentially, maybe.
Yeah. Let me just pull something up. Okay, so the primary thing that Eliza's looking for is, if we remember way back in her very introduction, she talked about the Angel of Shiloh, a magic user from the past who had the power to heal. And she is trying to pick up on the trail that led her across the country to Winchester itself, because she thinks that the Angel of Shiloh ended up here. And now that they've ended up in a realm full of monsters and warriors that seem to be themed on the Civil War, she is sure there's a connection there. So that's what she's trying to pick up on. So actually rolling the dig action with +1 for research.
All right.
Oh, well, I rolled a 9 base, +1 is 10.
All right. That is a complete success.
All right.
And on that, information about the Angel of Shiloh is difficult to find, largely because you are reading into things that historians didn't know they were recording. But there is one incident that catches your eye. During a skirmish outside of Winchester, there was a soldier who was wounded laying on the battlefield, and when they went to recover him the next morning along with the rest of the dead, he had survived and said that his wounds had glowed blue in the middle of the night. He was inches away from death when they recovered him.
I think when Eliza gets to the glowing blue wounds, she just lets out an excited squeak noise, just kind of a.
You find something?
She was here.
Who? Right, that angel person you mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the whole reason I came to this town.
Okay.
At this point, Chris walks in. Her hair's damp, her cheeks are a little flushed, and she's got a heavy backpack on. She sets it down sort of across from the others and sort of sits back. Her books are all sports and medicine. And she looks up and says, I've got a test to study for. I'm going to work on this, but I'm here to listen and hang out.
Okay, we kind of just had the big breakthrough.
She like gestures of like, all right, spill.
Remember the Angel of Shiloh? I just found a description of a soldier who said his wounds glowed blue and he healed overnight.
Okay.
So she was here, and if I'm reading this right, she must have arrived here in like early 1863. So yeah, that tracks. Because the time she was there in Shiloh in 1862, and it still took a long time to travel around then because the railroad wasn't really great yet. So, yeah, this was probably like the first time she came to Winchester.
It doesn't attribute like a name or anything?
Nope, just what he says happened to him. But this gives us a window of when she arrived in Winchester, and if the town has records that date back that far, we can track down when people like moved into town and started living here. So if she stayed here long enough, there will be records of her, and we can figure out who she was.
Okay.
How does that help us today?
We get a brief moment of Eliza just sitting there with one finger held up and her mouth open. I don't know. But this is the whole reason I came to Winchester in the first place. And I think it must be connected because I'm tracking down one of us, a magic user from the Civil War, and we are dealing with a evil hell dimension full of things that are themed on the Civil War. That's got to be connected.
You don't think she made that place, do you?
I really hope not. I was more thinking that she tried to deal with it too. And maybe if we pick up where she left off, we can actually like cut ourselves out of a lot of the experimentation. But oh no. Maybe if she did make it, oh, I don't know.
If she did make it, it's there for a reason.
Yeah, true.
Well, whatever it is, I don't think it's a good reason.
Mm-mm. The ones that I've run into before, it didn't seem like anyone made them. It more just seemed like they happened.
They just happen?
Well, okay.
Okay.
Hazel, do you remember the night we found you when I exploded?
Uh, yeah.
When that happens, I heard a voice.
Oh,
It it made some sort of offer to me. It offered me power to destroy and remake the world.
um, now I'm not an expert in, but that always sounds bad.
Yeah, so the thing is, I told you about the twin powers, light and dark.
Uh-huh.
And before that, I thought that they were just natural forces like gravity or magnetism, things that were there but didn't do anything. But then one offered me the power to, yeah. So I'm
It was like
concerned.
actually talking to you?
It wasn't words, it was just thoughts that came unbidden, and they definitely weren't mine.
Wow. Okay, I hate that.
Hmm. There's more going on than just fancy powers here.
Huh.
No kidding.
Mm.
Curious, does Des show up?
Yeah, I think she just shows up, sees everybody talking, and just quietly sits down with everyone.
Hazel gives you a fist bump.
She gives Hazel a fist bump back.
Chris grins and like gives you a half hug around the shoulders.
Eliza waves, but she's kind of dealing with what she just shared.
Des goes, "So, I miss anything?"
Eliza passes the book with the bit about the glowing wounds.
And
Oh,
apparently, darkness just conjured powerful images in Eliza's head.
what? You got powerful images? I just got
Remember
like
when
a
I
shield.
exploded?
Do you remember when I exploded?
Yeah, I was meaning to ask you that. When you exploded, did you like feel like there was some sort of power that was offering you something?
No, I just kind of half passed out, and I got cool shields. You got
Okay, so it's just me.
you got a voice?
It wasn't really a voice, it was more just thoughts that came into my head without them being mine, but it offered me the power to remake this world and to destroy and kill everyone who's ever hurt me.
I mean, that sounds bad, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, we're specifically trying to stop things from being destroyed right now. So at least she shrugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, good news. We've tracked down part of why I came to Winchester in the first place.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm just gonna say I'm really glad I did.
I mean, yeah, I would expect you would be.
She smiles at the three of them.
It's at this point that the door opens again.
Eliza looks up expecting Faith.
It's not Faith. It's a thin man dressed in a suit, a widow's peak accents sunken cheeks and clear blue eyes that inspect you. He's standing politely, hands folded behind his back. I hope you don't mind if I join you for a moment.
That depends on who you are.
My identity is not important, I assure you. What is important is the message I would like to deliver.
Whoever's sitting closest to Eliza can just feel heat radiating off her.
All right, fine. I'll bite at this point. What's the deal?
First, I would like to inform you that I have good news. Everything has been smoothed over with the detective. I assure you he won't be a problem anymore. The second thing is that if you're here, there is clearly a problem that needs to be addressed. Address it quietly, and we will ensure that no more attention is turned your way. This is not a deal. This is information that I am giving you. You do not need to agree.
Can we have more of an explanation of what you're talking about?
Are you not currently working on... He looks at the books that you're studying, understanding what it is you are dealing with?
What do you think we're dealing with?
I think you're dealing with a gray. Not the aliens, don't be ridiculous. But a pocket dimension formed by something intruding on our reality.
What do you mean you know about these things?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this means you owe us an explanation.
And possibly a transformation.
Yeah, also maybe tell us who you are?
Chris puts down her books and, stands up behind Des.
Eliza stands up and starts walking towards the door past this guy.
He's standing in the doorway.
Oh, okay. She was going to close the door behind him.
He raises an eyebrow. Well, I suppose we need to establish how much you know. Clearly, you know enough to be in the business, and one of you has been doing this for quite some time.
How long have you been tracking me?
Not very long, but you do leave a trail.
You talked to Melissa in Chicago, didn't you?
I didn't. Regardless, how much do you know?
Why would we offer... You know more than you should, but I still at least don't have a reason to give you our information?
Nothing comes for free.
If it suits you.
Des, Chris's hand is on your shoulder and shaking.
Regardless, I assure you, as long as you deal with this business quietly, no more official attention will come your way.
We're going to have a bit more than that before we offer you everything we know.
I was simply asking to know where to start, but if you're not interested, then have a good day.
Before you go, clearly the words twin powers mean something to you, don't they?
You know a little something, I see.
You know what we can do, obviously. You wouldn't be here if you didn't.
I do.
I want to know who you work for.
Who I work for is not important. And I'm
It really is.
In particular, I don't need you jumping to conclusions based on what you think you know about my employment. So in the interest of time and clarity, I don't think I will tell you. Have a good day, ladies, and not a lady. He closes the door and walks out.
Chris's head is tilted in confusion, and she walks out after him.
He's already gone.
What do you mean already gone?
I mean, he's disappeared somewhere.
Because he just closed a door. Chris just opened that door.
There were a couple of seconds where you had to get to the door, And in that amount of time, he has either disappeared somewhere into the building, he has gone behind a shelf, or he has simply teleported out. You don't really have any way of knowing.
Eliza just sits down back at the table, staring at her books without looking at them.
So, is he like a mascot character, or is he our tuxedo mask? Or like,
So they have been watching us.
okay, who's they?
Don't know. But I'm going to guess someone international, given the accent.
Sure. Yeah, God, so many questions here, all of them a little frustrating. Um, Super annoying. What's the point of coming and talking to us? Maybe he really is a tuxedo mask kind of guy. It's the thank you. I've done my duty, and
But you
it's
didn't
the
do anything.
and then he leaves.
I think he came and he was telling us mostly so that we wouldn't kill the detective.
Well, hmm.
I
I
mean, it
guess
was never right on my list, but like he had to be concerned about it, so
I mean,
I
for
mean, to me, it sounded like he was telling you to stop attracting attention.
yeah, and that's something else we should be worried about. Because here's my thing: there's the five of us, we know about it, and you have your roommates, and they're at least partly in on the secret.
Chris is not in the room.
Oh, okay. She says, Hazel, you have your roommates. Should somebody go after Chris?
Yeah, where did Chris and Hazel sticks her head out of the room and is looking for Chris?
Chris has spent the last however many minutes that this conversation has taken stalking the stacks to try to see if she can actually find this guy. I assume she doesn't.
Nope, he seems to be gone.
And she frustratedly walks out of the library, and they are currently pacing on the lawn.
okay. Well, if everyone is heading out to look for Chris, then Des absolutely is as well.
Eliza takes a moment to stack up the library books that they're not gathering or not taking. She grabs Chris's backpack and Chris's stack of books, and then also the book with the info on the angel, and she heads to the front desk because she's going to check that one out.
I'm curious, Des, are you the first one to look outside?
Sure.
So you see Chris pacing on the lawn.
Yeah. Des heads out and puts a hand on Chris's shoulder and goes, "Hey, you okay?"
No? Some guy walks in, acts like he knows what we're doing, and implies that he knows more about this job that we're supposed to be doing and doesn't fucking share it? How are we
Yeah.
supposed to do what he asks without knowing what the hell we're doing?
I don't think we should pay much attention to him. Like, I know that sounds kind of weird or dumb or whatever, but I think he's uh not he's not going to interfere with us at all. So let's just do what we're doing. Try to keep people safe.
Chris looks down and grinds her teeth a little bit before just going for another lap. I'll be right back. Just that really pissed me off.
Completely fair. I'll be here.
They take off in a jog, and it's not long for Chris to get back.
I think at about this point, Eliza's done checking out books.
Yeah, and she's carrying the backpack full of books that Chris brought with them, but she's having a time with it because it's very heavy.
Oh, thanks, Eliza. Let me here. And she takes the backpack.
Oh, are you studying osmium or something?
Weight training for the brain, weight training for the body.
So there's actual weights in your backpack?
Chris grins and says nothing.
Ugh. No wonder you're so. Ugh. Okay, so
Hey, y'all, I'm gonna keep reading if that's okay.
Yeah, that's totally cool.
yeah, I'll be back in a minute.
And Hazel goes back inside.
I wonder where Faith is.
You abruptly realize that Faith doesn't have a car.
Oh no. Eliza, like, her hand goes to her phone, but then she realizes that she's got a. Hey, Chris,
Yeah?
how close do you feel to exploding right now?
Am I supposed to know that?
Well, I mean more like emotionally than just the whole magic stuff.
Ah. Better than I was a few minutes ago.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I can't say I'm surprised. I always figured that there was some sort of agency who would deal with people like us. I'm surprised they're just trusting us to do it.
Yeah, without any training? Or coaching? Or, help?
They could at least pay us.
Chris gestures in agreement.
Yeah, but you know what I think this means?
Hmm?
I don't think anyone's going to help us. I think this is all on us.
Well, I'm gonna be honest, like, that's how I felt at the beginning of the day, so nothing has changed, I guess?
Yeah, this is our task, I guess.
Chris is glowering again.
Hey, Chris, come here. Come here.
What?
Eliza wraps Chris in a hug.
The frown on her face falls a little bit and she leans in. It's just like men with power to dangle something of information in front of you and take it away, and then just expect you to learn on your own. It's bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Des, do you want to? She puts one arm out towards Des.
Yeah, Des leans in and joins the group hug.
Group hug achieved.
An achievement thing pops up in the corner of your screen.
Thank you. I was gonna ask, but I didn't want to be like rude. Thank you for the achievement. It really helps my gamer score.
There
Excellent.
we go.
I think Eliza gets courage for that.
Oh, okay.
I did say heroic or compassionate.
All right. You feeling any better, Chris?
I don't like. She looks up at the two of you. I don't like knowing that I don't know what I'm doing. GM, may I take that as Chris speaking a blunt truth?
Okay.
I don't think anyone does. But at least we're suited for it. I mean, this is our game. We're the best players.
That gets a laugh and a grin out of Chris.
Did I do a sports right?
Yeah, you did, hot stuff. Alright. Fuck the guys in the big chairs. What are we doing?
Getting ready to go back in the thing that we were.
He called it a gray.
Honestly, part of me doesn't want to use the term that he gave us.
A little bit, but I mean, it's better than whatever we've been calling it.
Creepy portal.
It's a bit more. I mean, if nothing else, it's a more innocuous thing. Unless someone thinks we're dealing with aliens. I went by Roswell. We're not dealing with aliens.
Right, because you've seen the real aliens over at Roswell.
But yeah, when do we go back in?
I think I need a movie night with Jesse. Or something.
Yeah, and I asked Faith to be here, and then we forgot to pick her up, so I think I need to make that up to her.
Works for me.
Do you want to come to the movie night?
Me?
Chris nods.
Yeah, I would love to watch a movie with y'all.
Sweet.
I thought Sweets was the other one.
No.
Eliza is just looks very smug at that.
Eliza and Chris, why don't you both roll 2d6, and whoever gets the higher will go first.
I rolled a 6.
It's 7.
All right. So, movie night first, sounds like?
Yeah. So Chris probably drove over here and will offer Des shotgun and then calls Jesse on the way over to ask about doing a movie night and specifies, or something else maybe, question mark?
You have ideas?
I want to do something rash. The problem is that I don't know what to do.
A song called Live Like You Were Dying comes on the radio.
I think Chris grins and says, I think a movie night's in order, but I kind of want to go climbing first.
Sounds like fun. Usual place?
Yeah, I'll stop at home and grab the gear. And she does that. She drives home instead of to Jesse's. Not that it's all that far a distance. And runs in real quick to grab climbing gear. I think she's probably got enough for 2 people and just like tosses that in the back seat. Des, have you ever gone climbing?
Is that something I can do indoors?
I mean, technically, I really like going climbing out. We have mountains here. Why would you climb inside when you can go to the mountains? I really like climbing outside, but it's a lot of fun. Jesse knows about all this stuff, so if you wanted to transform, that might be something you could do in case things go weird. I she kind of like blushes and grins. I really um like the just heart pounding stuff where um your gear is minimal and the rock face is really sheer and like handholds are few and far between. She's grinning widely as they turn the car around and zip over to Jesse's.
This is, I gotta say, Chris, extremely unsurprising. Um, I haven't done rock climbing before, and I don't think I'm sure Jesse is great, but I don't know that I will um transform in front of them.
Oh no, that's fair. Are you okay coming rock climbing? I promise we'll do a movie later. I just suddenly have this itch, and earth beneath my hands and feet sounds great.
That also sounds like you. Um, no, I don't have a problem. I may not do much climbing, if at all. I'll try it, but maybe not quite my thing.
Chris grins at the idea of getting Des to maybe try this.
So, the Blue Ridge Mountains and the Appalachians they're not the Rockies. They're older, they're much more venerable, and they have subsided much more. There's not as many places to look for the kind of sheer rock climbing that one might assume. But Chris has been around here a minute and has looked specifically for these kinds of things, and there's a couple places you can find way back out in the middle of nowhere, and you're able to get there. One of them in particular is a preferred spot, and when you arrive, Jesse is in fact waiting for you.
Gear or no gear today? For you, Jesse.
I think I'll go with gear.
Okay. Chris tosses Jesse one set of gear, and dutifully puts the other set on herself since Des is not going to be climbing so much. Des, if you want to try this, one of us will have to give you a kit. But maybe we can show you a little bit about how it goes first.
Yeah, that I would definitely prefer to see it demonstrated before I get climbing by myself.
I can do that. Also, hi, I'm Jesse. They stick a
Oh,
hand out
oh,
to shake.
hi, I'm Desdemona.
Oh,
Nice to meet
sorry.
you.
Yeah. Jesse, Desdemona, you already did that. Jesse's been my bestie for a while.
Yeah, I think Chris has mentioned you once or twice.
Oh, I'm famous.
Chris grins mischievously.
All right, well, I can get Des sorted out if you want.
Sure. You want to set up for a belay, and then maybe I can do a free climbing warm up?
Sure.
So as they're walking down toward their preferred climbing spot, Chris is explaining. Yeah, so typically free climbing is where you may or may not have the gear, but you're not connected to a belayer, and typically you'd have a belayer on the ground, and the whole point is that you've got something up above where you're connected, and your belayer acts as like a counterweight. So when if you like fall off the face, they've got you. They're able to catch you and bring you down slowly. Free climbing, there's none of that, and you just get to go, and it's a good time. So
I don't know if you've noticed, but Chris is a regular daredevil.
Yeah, I'm beginning to pick up on that.
so if I'm going to do a warm up while we get started here, Jesse can run you through how the gear works, and I'll catch you up in a bit.
Sure.
So what Chris does here is V goes up and starts climbing up as far as they can. The first thing Chris does is go up and set up for a belay up at the top, and tosses the rope down so Jesse can get that going. And then Chris scrambles back down the safer side of the slope, and then slowly starts free climbing her way across to where the face is a little bit more sheer. Typically, this is where Jesse would want there to be a belay, and this is where Chris usually has a belay, but today Chris is just going for it.
Yeah, sometimes you're just like that.
You'll know if things are going bad, I'm sure.
I'm sure I will. I'll catch you.
Uh-huh.
So, how long have you two known each other?
Not a super long time. I knew them the way that I know like lots of people, which is to say, I know a lot. I would say like at this point, 30 to 40% of the town. Um,
God damn.
it gets a little confusing sometimes, but uh, I don't know all of them super well, so it's nice to get to know them a little bit better. How did you two end up meeting? Not volleyball, I take it.
Nope, we were roommates. Kind of got along like a house on fire, so.
Y'all, the urge to say, ah, and they were roommates.
Same. I was gonna say obligatory, and they were roommates comment right here.
I was thinking it.
Yeah, I've heard it a few times. Chris thinks it's hilarious.
Yeah, I bet they do. But that's cool. Sound of dice rolling in the distance.
For once, it's not me.
Sorry, please continue.
Was that a climb roll or something?
It was, in fact, a climb roll. We will hear about the result of that in just a minute.
Uh-oh.
Amazing.
So climbing? I know they're into some dangerous stuff. They're not Des pales a little bit. They're not into like skydiving too, are they?
I haven't asked. I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, yeah, no, that seems fair. They certainly weren't. Uh,
I bet they'd go riding in a rodeo if they could.
that also sounds like him. Certainly they didn't seem particularly upset when we were, you know, flying her.
It's at this point that you hear a distressed shit! Dang it! Damn! Fuck! Ah! God damn it! And you see the crumbling of stone beneath Chris's feet. She had placed her foot in what looked like a good foothold, what felt like a good foothold, but it is crumbling away nonetheless. If you can see far enough, her knuckles are white and her fingertips are grasping into the stones. And it's not long before the opposite hand falls, and then she just pushes off the rock.
Oh
Like,
shit! And Jesse immediately goes for the rope, hooks onto it, and starts climbing up toward you to see if they can try and catch you.
Chris is not connected to that rock, and she transforms midair.
okay. Yeah, I was gonna say Des is about to transform.
So she pushes off the rocks and transforms midair, and flailing arms are soon joined by graceful hawk's wings, and she floats gently down to the ground and grins up to Jesse. I think this is cool.
You know, I am still getting used to that. And they start working their way back down.
Des's eyes are like as wide as possible, and she's got like one hand over her chest.
Yeah, something tells me you already knew about that.
I was about to do the same thing.
Cool.
At least we have that as an option if we decide to do dangerous sports.
Chris is beaming with pride. She is so happy with how that went.
At this point, if you want to clear stress and conviction, you absolutely can.
I would like to. Yes. I will be clearing 5.
All right. So, as this adrenaline rushes through your system and refreshes you, what experience is it that Chris takes away from all the things that they've been through that helps her grow as a person?
I think this time it's confidence. Sure, some weird bloke has shown up and basically told them that there's people who know about this, and then left without giving them any tips. But Des and Eliza are right. They've got a team. They can do this stuff. And Chris is starting to feel like this is doable. Like maybe there's a solid sense of what it takes to be the Winged Warriors of Winchester and to do it well. And she's finally got back that confidence in herself and her team.
I really like that. You can go ahead and write that down. If you'd like to spend it, you can spend it. If you'd like to bank it, you can bank it.
Given that this is confidence with her team, I'd like to spend that on the ability Rhythm.
And this is your second ability you're picking up?
It is. That one's still only 1 XP, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Chris is going to pick up Rhythm, which I'll read from the rulebook here. It's not hard to get into the zone when you're fighting. As long as you have at least 1 darkness, you deal an additional point of stress to a target if you also fought them on your last turn. This does not stack with itself.
Nice.
All right. Well, that was exhilarating. Des, do you want to try this at all before we go watch a movie? You don't have to do what I did, I promise.
Gonna
In fact, I
be
don't recommend it.
gonna be honest. This kind of feels like I think I got my adrenaline just from watching you. I think. Uh, uh, I uh, I'll go up a little bit, but it, I I'm I'm I got what you were looking for out of it, anyways.
Hey, don't worry. I'll be right there with you.
Jesse's really, really good at this.
I believe it. I yeah. I mean, I guess worst comes to worst, I can save myself in the same way.
Yep. And I think as we see you start to harness up alongside Jesse and start to climb, and they're helping you through it. Eliza, what are you up to?
Okay, I think Eliza, she will have texted Faith and asked if Faith was getting there on her own or needed a ride.
Uh, yeah, I might need a ride. I'm sorry, going to the library, right?
Uh, we found what we needed there, but do you want me to pick you up? You and I could. I need to blow off some steam.
Sure. What do you want to do?
Do you want to go flying again?
Sounds like fun.
And then Eliza ducks back into the study room where they were before and asks, "Hey, Hazel, do you want to go flying?"
Um. Let me
She just grins and raises her eyebrows.
catch up with you later, okay?
You sure?
I'm kind of gestures to like neck deep in books.
All right, but be sure to take breaks, okay? And I think they're closing soon.
Oh shit, are they? Yeah, okay. I got it. Thank you though.
All right, I'll see you.
Yep.
And Eliza is going to head over and get to her car and go pick Faith up.
Yeah. It's a bit of a drive, but in the next hour or so, you are in the National Radio Quiet Zone. The sun's starting to go down.
So she hops out, and they're in that same little gravel turnout near the lake. And I assume Faith is getting the climbing harness out.
Yep.
So we met somebody.
Oh, was it another gestures at you? Magic person?
Well, he knew about it.
She tilts her head and opens her mouth slightly.
He was a kind of gaunt-looking British guy in a suit, and he knew about the magic. Maybe knew more than we do. He hinted that he's been like tracking me at least since I was in Chicago, and that he worked for some like organization.
All right, that's creepy.
Yeah, so I think there's like pretty good chance that there's some sort of international organization that's dedicated to watching us.
Okay. I don't know what to make of that. They're not going to like put you in a lab or something, are they? I would really like them to not do that.
If they did that, it would end badly for them. But also, he didn't seem to like want to. I expected him to at least like try to order us around and work like a handler, but he just dropped that he had smoothed things over with the cops and they weren't going to be investigating us, and then left.
Oh,
So
that's good, right?
yeah,
It sounds good.
I'm sure we're being watched, but and Faith, there's something I want to put past you.
Shoot.
If things go bad and they do try to put me in the lab, he knows about me and Chris and Des, and Hazel was there, so he knows about Hazel. But he doesn't know about you, and you're not connected to this. So if the government moves against us, I need you to just go quiet and not get involved, okay?
Uh, n- Her lips kind of form a line.
I don't want you getting caught up in something that isn't your fault. And if they know you know about it, you'll probably get added to a list.
I mean, she kind of shrugs awkwardly, not really sure what to say, and kind of looks at her feet.
You don't want to do that, do you?
I mean, I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to try and run away, but I mean, at the same time, you are my friends, and I don't want to.
We're your friends, Faith. And we'll stick with you, you'll stick with us. But if it comes down to you taking on the government on your own, don't try. I know you've got like one gun, but they've got a lot. Oh,
I mean, I don't always have. I mean, that was my dad's gun.
oh,
I didn't steal it. I put it back.
okay. Well, good thing we're keeping you at the apartment when we go into the gray. By the way, he called it a gray.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's good. Creepy
Yeah,
pocket dimension was a mouthful.
a little bit.
I'm gonna be honest. I prefer being at the apartment and not out there.
Yeah, we'll keep you there. We'll keep you safe, okay?
Thanks.
That's our job, after all. And Eliza transforms in a flash of fire, her jetpack unfolding. We're the Winged Warriors of Winchester. Oh no, is
She
that
just
too silly of a
leans
name?
in and pulls you into a hug.
Eliza hugs back.
And I think we fade out on that. Hey, Des, as you arrive at, I think, Jesse's place, how's Des feeling after the climbing?
I would say probably still like shaking a bit from the joint adrenaline of climbing for the first time, and also feeling like Chris came very close to some serious danger.
Yeah, that makes sense. Just kind of shaking, staring out the windshield, or staring out the side window for a moment.
Exactly.
What are y'all feeling? I can get takeout or something.
Des?
Yeah. Whatever's easiest that we can get for everybody.
I know a good Chinese place.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to
Eliza's
me.
ears perk up. You're getting snake out?
From 100 miles away.
Mm-hmm.
While Jesse's on the phone making that call, what movie do you all pick?
What kind of genre are we looking for here?
I don't know. I think Chris first goes to Jesse's physical media shelf and scans. I don't know. Jesse's got a little bit of rom-com, a little bit of action, a little bit of thriller, a little bit of like slice of life animes. And I don't know what this is. And she pulls out something that's extremely brightly colored and then shows it to Des and puts it back. Or there's like any number of streaming services. So it's really kind of whatever floats your boat.
This is like, oh, you have an old VHS copy of The Matrix.
Yeah, but no player for it.
Oh,
We can get it up on one of the streaming services though.
sure, sounds good. Maybe they'll have fixed the fact that the
DVD
the
copies on the fourth shelf.
Okay. Chris goes and finds the DVD copy.
Yeah, DVD's old, but it still runs.
Yeah.
Jesse comes back and plops down on the couch. Okay, I can go and get that in like 10 minutes.
Awesome.
So tell me about this Saving the World Club. And I think Jesse looks specifically at Des.
Saving the World Club? Uh,
Chris is quietly starting the movie in the background.
did I? Okay, I'm so sorry. Did I talk about this at some point already?
Nope, but Chris did.
Okay, all right. Well, if they're looking at me, I was like, did I do something? No, well, we have magic powers, which are real, I guess.
Apparently.
Uh, and we are using them to fight monsters, which are also real. No word yet on if the Mothman is real, but I'm sure we'll find out.
Yeah, let me know.
Uh, and you know about, well, okay, you don't know about Evil Portal. Um, there's monsters in it, and we are killing them.
Alrighty then. Okay. You don't sound super stoked about this.
Well, okay, so I mean, to a degree, it's very cool, but also everyone else got like really cool character stuff. Like they look like actual magical people. Uh, and I'm just pink, basically. Uh, although I got new wings, those are cool. I do like the wings, but
Oh, that's good.
yeah, the outfit is an unfortunate side effect. The good news is I can use um, the bad outfit to help people.
Yeah. They're just watching you and listening to what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's long and the short of it, I guess. I guess I could go into more detail if you really wanted.
I'm just curious how you feel about all this. I mean, it's a lot, and I'm sure that you've had more time to adjust to it than I have, but
Um, extremely mixed, I guess, would be the thing here. On the one hand, magic. On the other hand, uh, potentially dying. On the other hand, um, some really fantastic new friends. Um, on the other hand, really pink.
you're not a big fan of the pink.
No, I kind of sometimes it feels like it comes with the territory, and I don't particularly like that.
The territory, like being magic, being a girl, or they
Being
wave their hand.
being a trans girl.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Pull you into a side hug.
Nice. Hardly, you know, hardly worse than monsters, but been a little rough.
I would say I can imagine, but that would not be true.
That's okay. I take it from everything Chris has told us about you that you're, one of our siblings. So you have a good idea, even if you're not magic.
They smile. You you're big on helping your friends then, I guess, if you're willing to put up with that.
Hmm. It's more important than me, I would say.
They quirk an eyebrow.
I've got a responsibility to help people, and these are the people helping me do it, and care about them a lot, and so it's my top priority.
Who gave you that responsibility?
That's a good question. Eliza, do we know who gives us these powers?
Is that a text?
Shouting from across 100 miles.
I'll be honest, I thought Eliza was joining us for the movie night.
She might, depending. Do you guys want her to?
Chris would not say no.
Yeah, I completely
Chris texts. Chris texts Eliza. It's just like, hey, do you want to come to the movie night?
And specifically, Chris takes a picture of the Matrix screen and sends it to Eliza with the address, and that's it.
Amazing.
She gets like 6 eyes emojis back.
The next text is also Chinese.
Eliza, don't text and fly at the same time.
yeah, I don't know where these powers come from, so I don't know. I mean, please tell us. I have a theory. So please let us know if you develop any powers. Because and does like looks around conspiratorially and leans in and goes, I think it's only trans people who can do it.
Jesse grins. Well, being able to fly would be pretty fun. I'll let you know.
Cool, thanks. Maybe we can like trade outfits if you get powers or something.
I don't know how I feel about the pink either, I'll be honest.
Well,
But
with a shot at least.
what happened? Have you ever thought about what happens if you get hurt?
I mean, I've gotten hurt a few times. And I think, I don't know if Chris had mentioned this, but Eliza delights in mentioning that she exploded once.
What?
No, not like
Yeah,
a magic explosion.
it wasn't great.
I don't know if that's better. Is she alive?
Very much so.
Right, yeah, you said delights in mention. Okay. That just raises more questions.
No, it's okay. I exploded once too.
What?
Mine was way different though. Eliza said she like got some kind of offer of power. I just was able to suddenly protect everybody even better than I was before. So, reasonably speaking, I think I'm winning in this trade-off. But
Okay. And you are taking care of yourself, right? Because I mean, I'm sure you've been through this. You can't help other people if you're not taking care of yourself.
no, yeah, of course. I eat loads of pancakes. I'm taking care of myself.
Jesse just gives you a long, studying look.
I do need to make sure you're on the vegetable train at some point.
Is bread a vegetable?
Chris does not respond.
Des gives Jesse a grin.
Jesse returns it and then, okay, but hand on your shoulder. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Is that like the Buddha?
Probably. It's also me.
I
You
will.
can't help other people. You can't protect other people if you're not taking care of yourself. Kind of give you that over the glasses look, except that they're not wearing glasses.
No, yeah, I for sure. I'm definitely definitely taking care of myself in between stuff uh as well.
All right. Hey, Chris, make sure that Des is taking care of herself.
You got it, Jesse.
Jesse smiles and stands up. All right, I gotta go get that food. And did you want to make any kind of roll, like relax or anything, Alice?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind rolling for build friendship if that's okay.
Absolutely, go for it.
And I don't think I have any applicable skills here.
Is there a way Chris can help? I mean, Chris did set up this whole thing. I don't think Chris intended to let Jesse apply insight to Desdemona.
The all-seeing eye.
I think it's okay. I rolled an 8, so it works out as is.
So was Jesse already on your friendship sheet?
I hadn't put them on my friendship sheet.
All right, so I believe they are now your acquaintance.
Gotcha.
Your network of people you know has expanded by 1.
After they hang out, Des like opens up her phone, scrolls down for a while until they get to Jay, and adds Jesse in parentheses, Chris's friend, to differentiate from the 3 other Jessies.
Good. I have a concept.
Hmm?
Well, given the time it takes to get to the lake and back, I feel like maybe Eliza arrives right around when they're starting Matrix Reloaded,
Hell yeah.
and she may or may not have Faith and or Hazel in tow.
Hazel doesn't make it, but Faith is there.
Okay.
I feel like with all of you sitting on the couch watching this series of movies, it might be a good place for us to wrap up this episode. Thank you so much to my players, and thank you to our audience. I hope to see you all next time, and have a good night. Thank you again for joining us on this adventure. With Conviction is a production of Silver Maiden Games. If you would like to play Conviction, check out the game at silvermaidengames.itch.io. Music for the intro and outro of this podcast is A Soul with Conviction by Doom Vega, who you can find on Bandcamp. Music within the episodes is by Rachel Rose Mitchell, who you can find on Bandcamp and Spotify. All rights to the music are retained by their original artist. Production and editing are done by myself and the With Conviction cast. Thank you all. This would not be what it is without you. You can find this podcast on Spotify and YouTube or silvermaidengames.wordpress.com. You can also find more about the game, podcast, and ways to contact us at silvermaidengames.wordpress.com.